Hi, folks. Welcome to MTGO Academy. This is your Pauper, Professor Jason Moore, and I'd like to welcome you to the latest installment of Oh, dozen. We are back playing Dimir Teachings. And not a lot has changed. This is a kind of, my faithful go-to deck. It's always there for me. And just sleeving it up again and going to play some more two-man queues. The only change is I've taken a Crypt Incursion from the sideboard and put it into the main deck. I did that because I was starting to think in a lot of my game ones how it would be nice to have access to this. It's life gain in the main deck, and it's also graveyard disruption. So this is the typical list of blue and black control cards. The shell is 4 Muldrifter, 4 Counterspell, 4 Preordain. I really like that card. I really like that blue card suite in this format. And then playing Mystical Teachings for a bunch of removal spells and finishing people off with Gurmag Angler. So the switch I made in the board is that I pulled that incursion in for Victim of Night. I felt like this was the least integral of the spells in the main deck. The one I would miss the least, even though we might end up missing it, I'm not sure, but a lot of the times when we need to kill a big creature, and we could pull this with a teachings, we can also just grab Diabolic Edict. And a lot of the times that'll do about the same job. So yeah, if you want to find out more about this deck, you can find a lot of information. I've written about it a bunch, and I've done a lot of videos. So I think if you just Google Jason Moore, Dimir Teachings, or Metagame, because I call this the Metagame guinea pig, I think you can find out the info there. So let's go ahead and get into these battles. I hope you guys will enjoy them, and I want to thank you very much for watching. Hello, boys and girls. We are here for our first round, and we're going to keep this hand. We are on the draw. So these counterspells are a little awkward, but we might be able to draw an island in time, and we have some other stuff that can work. So, Elves or Stompy here. If we can get enough guys in the graveyard, this newly main-decked Crypt Incursion might help. Chainer's Edict might be nice. If he's stuck on one land, it's even better. Oh, not exactly stuck. So I hope he doesn't play a Young Wolf here. Yeah, these counter spells not too great here. Not only because the matchup is not the best for them, but also because they're currently uncastable. I think we just have to Edict. It makes him make an interesting choice, because if he gets rid of the Ranger, he's potentially just stuck on 1 mana. Yeah, this is actually about as good as our Chainer's Edict is going to get. And we want to slow him down. If we try and preordain and come up short, we're going to be a little unhappy. Basically, I think this game's going to come down to whether or not we're going to be able to cast this. Because if we can resolve this, I think we win. And if we can't, then I think we lose. And we need to do it in a timely fashion. So we're probably casting Preordain. There is a chance that maybe we leave up Counterspell, or maybe we evoke Muldrifter. But now, as you can see, he's in a bit of a predicament with, what do I sack? If he sacks the Nettle Sentinel, he loses out on a bit of damage, but it's the least utilitarian. I don't know if that's the right word. It's the least useful of his threats in terms of having actual value, actual abilities. The Pit Skull can go unblocked, and the Ranger can add him mana So it possibly is just correct to sack Nettle Sentinel. I don't know what the 4 cards in his hand are. We obviously know that they're all spells. So, I mean, I'm going to, just to average things out, I'm going to say maybe that's 2 threats and 3 pumps or something like that. Likely not a Rancor, but it's still a little early to say. Okay, he's just going to play another threat that dies to Justice. The worst threat here would have been Wild Mongrel, because it can not die to Justice. So now we don't have an option. We're obviously going to cast this Preordain. And we need the Guild Gate. I don't think we can let the Mulldrifter. I think we need to hit untapped land on turn 4, because this is at least 5 damage. He's probably throwing a Rancor on somebody. So it's about 7 damage, so we really need to just hit that that 4th land. And we'll do a bit of posturing. We'll represent this figure. I'm not just going to F6 through his turn. Yeah, if we hit this Justice, then we get to untap and Crypt Incursion for 12 life. Pretty much game, I think. So it's all going to come down to that. The game wins against hyper-aggressive decks like this. You can often find yourself in this position where the first 4 turns are just the most pivotal thing going on. Especially for him, like, it's pivotal that he's able to get this board position in the first 3 turns. Then it's up to me. It's on me really to deal with it. So I think he has some clock issues. Hopefully that's not me. I've been trying to check, and pretty sure it's this guy. Though there will be a bit of lag with me trying to run the clock. Alright, well, game on. Okay, there's a land drop. I'm going to not exactly F6, but he played his land pre-combat, so he may be interested in ground swelling. Okay, this is it, guys. He might have a Hunger of the House. Oh, another Nest Invader. Alright, this is really it. Justice just completely. Just take a look at this board for a second, because if I draw a land, this board is not going to be here anymore. So Justice is going to either save us, or we're going to be pretty much done. Yeah, let's go. Oh! And it's a tapped land. This tapped land does gain us a life. I think we're going to have to leave up Dispel, Counterspell, and Crypt Incursion. I don't think we can afford to draw the 2 cards. Oh, we might be out of here, guys. That needed to be an untapped land. He has 2 spells here. So if one's a Groundswell and one's a Vines, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it'll be lethal either way. Okay, here it comes. Oh, we might go to 1. So here's the thing. If he has a way to pump a guy, I'm still going to lose. I mean, I could draw an untapped land to dispel what he does, but I think I know this is really stupid, but I think I may have to Crypt Incursion him right now to go up to 6. Then if I go to 4 and he has another pump, I'm still just going to lose. So I think now we need an untapped land. The Crypt Incursion taking us to 4. Well, man. The Crypt Incursion taking us to 4 rather than 1. And I'm factoring in the Justice as well. If we have the untapped land, we're going to win anyway, I think. So it's really a matter of, does he have 2 pumps that'll that'll do 4. And it seems like he does. Like, it's really unlikely that he has a land or creature in hand. I think I'm going to do it. Like I said, if we have an untapped land, I think we win this anyway. And had this been a Victim of Night, I think I could have cast it the turn before. He's like, what the heck? Why is he doing that? Well, we're definitely priced into doing this now. I mean, we could preordain and try to hit an untapped land, but that's the same difference. We're going to be tapped out either way. So here it goes. Oops. Don't undo. I don't want to undo. Alright, let's see if he can save a guy. He almost assuredly can. And then we probably just die. Oh! Did that just happen? He couldn't save a guy? He was just playing around. Oh, this is scary now. Well, I have to preordain and try and find removal. So, I'm going to sack this. We could likely find removal here. And Chainer's Edict would be good. Diabolic. Yeah, Disfigure. Do I want Tragic Slip? Yeah, because there's a chance we can evoke Mold Drifter and do some stuff. So hopefully he doesn't have a pump here, because I want to be able to counterspell his next threat. Wow, he just has nothing. How is that? How is he missing lands and now has nothing? That's very odd. All right, we're countering this. So, granted, the Crypt Incursion now just like completely owns the game, but being at 4 on an empty board is kind of the same thing, if you guys get what I'm saying. So I think I actually have to evoke Mold Drifter here. I have no idea what his hand is. It's like maybe he has some type of reactive cards that are like fight cards or something. Okay, there's a Think Twice. That's really good. We're probably going to end up counterspelling, though. So I think we just counter any threat, so that's one of them. Maybe he has Rancor. He has Rancor because what he was doing is... Alright. What he was doing is basically he was leaving up... He was playing around a spot removal spell. So... that turn where I had open black mana... Okay, it makes a lot more sense. So we're going to think twice. Maybe we can find a Mystical Teachings. There's a Disfigure. So I'm just going to leave all this up. We also are very close to Chainer's Edict mana. Okay. So I have the Dispel for this. Oh, okay, this will work. We can double up. We'll just go for it now. He's down to 1 card. I think we just won this game, guys. I mean, he could still stick a threat, but the clock is... I mean, you know what I'm saying. Alright, we're going to slam this. Blue. Angler 1 time. Okay. That's not... 2 Dispels is not terrible, because we still have this as a blocker. Yeah, turn 10. Oh, he just concedes. Just concedes. All right. So that was an intense game. Like I said, it came all the way down to that Evan Carr's Justice. That was really intense. I'm curious if anyone wants to comment what you thought of that Crypt Incursion play. But we have a match to finish out still, so this is going to be very interesting. So Counterspell comes out. It's decent as a late game means of stopping threats from hitting the board, but he's going to have threats on the board. There's nothing we can do about that. We also might cut an island here, depending on what I want to bring in. So, as you can see, that was a pivotal card, and it's possibly our best card. Just a complete board sweeper. If we had resolved this later in the game, it would have completely just put us so far out of reach. So, I want to keep that in. We didn't see Vault Scourge or Wild Mongrel. And if he has Vault Scourge, there's a chance he boards it out. So I don't mind playing Doomblade here. I think we also want Vendetta as a 1-mana answer. And we may also just want to play Victim of Night just to have as much freaking removal as possible. It's a little hard to cast, but Counterspell is a little hard to cast as well. And then there's Serrated Arrows, but I guess 6/4 drops is not too bad. Maybe I'll play that on the play, but on the draw, I think I may just want the cheaper spell. And we keep in Dispel because he typically has a lot of pumps. He didn't that game, but yeah, I think this is what we want. Man, I'm still kind of shocked that about that last game, but he had Rancors in hand. Must have been the thing. Alright, this is very interesting. We're on the draw with all the removal in the world, but we need a second land, and it's not clear what land we actually fetch. Because we're playing 25 land, we're on the draw, and we have the chance to maybe preordain. I'm going to keep it. And the other thing that you want to think about is, okay, all these other cards in my hand are pretty much ridiculous for this matchup. He went to 6, by the way. So why would I not? I actually think I have to get blue. Even though my hand is all black spells, I think I have to get blue to preordain into my other lands. So this is going to be really awkward. Though we might draw a land for Chainer's Edict. We have to specifically draw a swamp, though. It's possible. I think I'm still going to get blue. What do you guys think? Well, now that... Yeah, I think it's just too risky. If we get stuck on 1 mana because we didn't preordain, we're going to lose. We still might lose. Anyway, but... Like, if I get a swamp here, I think it's really good for me. Oh, Lord. Not like this. Not like this. Well, I don't think Gurmag Angler is getting cast anytime soon. Wow. Well, we still get a preordain. We don't have much time, though. We really don't. If he plays out his last card and it's not a pump, maybe we'd be okay, but right now Disfigure is so dead. We're probably dead next turn, unfortunately. So I think we need both of these to even... Swamp doesn't do enough. I guess we can double spell next turn. If we're alive. So I think I go like that. I don't think we're alive. Oh, no. I should have played the swamp. Damn it. Oh my lord. Because then I catch whoever he pumps. What did he just do? He just killed me. Well, that was a huge mistake, and we deserve to lose for that. He could have had another Vines, but had I played the Swamp, I could have responded and maybe killed that Pit Skulk, untap, Edict him, then the game is over. So that was a huge punt, guys. I apologize. But we get to be on the play now, and I think that might help. The Mulligan decision was also very interesting, so... Oh my lord. So basically, don't go on mental autopilot. I think we do want to try playing the Serrated Arrows. don't go on mental autopilot. I think I'm actually going to do it like this. So we really just need the teachings for that critical crypt incursion or whatever. Don't go on mental autopilot even when you're talking and trying to work through everything. Don't just slam the land down. Okay, so this is game 3. We're going to play first. It's going to be alright. We're going to just smash him with a million removal spells. As you see here, this hand is a snap keep. So I'm feeling very comfortable or very confident that we can still pull through. That was just a huge punt, but that just makes me feel good about the deck because had I not punted, I think we might have had a shot of winning that game. So right now, we can play around a Vines by playing Victim, or we can play around him having a billion guys by playing Edict. But I don't really care about the billion guys because we have Justice and Serrated Arrows. So I'm just going to kill this right now. Not take any damage. And, you know, if he plays Ledgewalker next turn, then he's just really set. He's really kind of screwed by that. He has Quirion Ranger. So I think we'll just Edict him here. Oh, yeah, now we'll definitely just Edict him. Because he's got nothing else going on, so he's got 2 drops in hand. He's got pump spells. This just buys us a world of time. We have Serrated Arrows coming up. Yeah, this buys us so much time, and he's not doing anything. Alright, so as long as we don't just brick for 5 turns, I think we're going to pretty much win this game. I think we can just do that next turn and leave the Chainer's Edict untouched. So, do we want to play arrows to use up our mana? I don't think so. I mean, it's very unlikely that he brought in Artifact Hate, but you know, it's possible he knows our deck or something. So I'm just gonna. He wasted mana. We wasted mana. It's almost the same, except you need to factor in the snowball effect, which is that if we're both doing the same thing, if we're both trading 1 for 1 every turn or not doing anything, the person who is currently in the lead is more likely to prolong and extend that lead than is the person. That is more likely than the chance of the person behind coming back from behind. And this is just going to bury him, so we'll just play this. Actually, I shouldn't have played that land first. Again, getting punished for just rushing out these lands. And there's absolutely no way he can come back. So we win this match. It's possible we could have won that second game as well, but I totally punted that. Definitely need to go back and watch the replay and reassess. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching the match overall. Hopefully something got added to our collection. I think it was a bunch of points, but my computer's being a little silly. So thank you guys very much for watching. More classic Pauper, and we are on the draw. We're going to keep. This guy's ID is definitely familiar. He is no slouch. He is the real deal. It might be Affinity, and I really enjoy this matchup. So it's been a while since I've played it. Hopefully I won't punt too hard. Oh, it's not Affinity. This is something else. Something with Prophetic Prism and Radiant Fountain. It might be Boros Kitty or something. I don't know. So he's going to play a threat. Core Skyfisher. Well, I think I just want to counter that. It's not like I'm going to necessarily do something with my mana next turn, but I want to get to a point where I can hopefully get teachings up. He's just going to play another threat here. 3 mana. What costs 3 mana? Oh, that's fine. So it's going to be a bit of a grind. Kuldotha Rebirth. Fortunately, we have an answer for that. I think we just got to fire it off. Hopefully he does another one. Oh, that would have been sick. This is actually still sick because Justice just gets us more value. So let's just do this. We don't want to take damage. We're going to take damage from the Justice, and the Justice isn't going to get much better. I mean, he might rebirth again, but we're going to have to just deal with it. Ooh, he might just have to pass the turn here. And I think we have Teaching's Lock. Perhaps incoming, I don't know. We can definitely just get a counterspell and Chainer's Edict his guy. Kicked to draw a card, alright. And so it begins. We've kept the board clear. We've kept our life total high. So I think this game is looking very good for us. Now I'm going to want to preordain Chainer's Edict and leave up Counterspell. One, two, three, four, five, six. We want at least 7 so we can Mole Drifter into. So we don't need to show him the Quicksand yet. Mole Drifter into with potentially Counterspell backup. So just do this. He's in no spot to Galv Blast us for 4. So yeah, I guess we'll just counter you. He's at 7 cards, so that's pretty absurd. And none of them are threats. How nuts is that? So his hand is all lands and burn and like Journey to Nowhere, which he's gonna immediately cast on this. That's okay. I don't think we counter it. Maybe we do. Firebolt, Flame Slash. Do we just counter removal at this point like we do with Mono Black Control? I think maybe we do. We have the Chainer's Edict to flashback. I think we start aggressively countering the removal. And of course, just going to do something else. What is black? Maybe he's got a bunch of black spells. Really hard to say. Alright, cast this. So I think we're definitely starting to... Oh, what? What? Hey, what are you doing? What do you think you're doing? We'll just play this. Well, I only have this spell. So... Okay. That was it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't think he has a way to kill the graveyard. So let's kill his guy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, we have Una's Grace, but I am still going to play the land. We actually get in for a hit. That's pretty interesting. We have 2 counter spells left in the deck. Wow, what is going on? Should I tap out for Grace? I kind of just want to leave my Mole Drifter alive. Oh! That just happened. 6. Yeah, I'll just play it for 1. Alright, baby. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have exactly 6 things that we can get rid of. Yeah, that's correct. Go, 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 go. Yeah, we're going to try and counter that. That's right. I know you have another one. Yeah, get over yourself. So now we're going to try and Una's Grace into another counter. Basically, luck sack. Nope. Alright, that resolves. That resolves, smart guy. I'm still going to leave up the Dispel, I think. Unless he just sorcery speed kills this. Alright, attack. I guess we could just leave up Counterspell. 2, 4, 5, 9, 10. And keep this back? Or do we just want to play another threat? I think this is just better. Counterspell. We don't want lands. Counterspell. Okay, not too bad. Yeah, we can leave that Grace. It's weird because I'm not casting the Grace. Yeah. And I'm not playing the land, so it's kind of just wasting my own time, but whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Guess we can play one land. I'm actually going to draw because if we find another angler, I'll be pretty happy, but that's okay. We're fine on land count. So now we are going to Grace because there's nothing else to do. This is how you do it, guys. Grind them out. Grind them out. Grind them out. Grind them out. Another one. I got another one. Yeah, throw another Gal Blast at me. See what happens. I don't need Pristine Talisman. I'm at 20, bro. I could just leave up Teachings for Counterspell, but I think we just want to overwhelm him. We're doing great with cards in hand. Just attack. We'll Una's Grace later. So now, like, there's no way he can win. The question is he going to make it impossible for us to win? Oh, baby. Take 4 every turn. Wow, take 4 every turn. I think maybe we got this one. Crypt Incursion. Ugly. Alright, just attack. I think we have one more counterspell, right? Yep, that's fine. I'm just gonna try and speed things along here. Actually, that's fine. Cancel. 1, 2, 3. No, we're out of counterspells. So I don't even know what we teachings for. It doesn't really matter. Sure. I don't think we teachings for anything at the moment. Are you done? Alright then. Are you good? Alright then. Okay. Let's just bash. I don't think we even want to Grace. I think we just want to try and get the game over with. What is this? What is the meaning of this? Ooh, remember the fallen. Sure. The fallen have been remembered. I guess I could have responded with the Crypt Incursion, but I don't think that's really necessary. Flame Slash. Yep. I have no more counterspells, so maybe I should have just tried to bury him. Maybe I'm being too cute here, giving him too many cards to draw. Yeah, that Crypt Incursion wasn't going to get much better, so. Kicked. Yep, you kicked it. You certainly kicked it. Well, that was a nice little random burst of card draw that ultimately will mean nothing. Do it again. We don't want to draw too many cards because we don't want to deck. So I might start, stopping. Yeah, that's good. So mana. I don't want to throw two guys at him, so let's just go ahead and double Edict and then play Angler. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have to pay another one? How much mana you guys want me to pay here? Attack. And Gurmag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Please don't kill him. Please just die. Damn it! What was that? A firebolt. Okay. Well, this is actually looking pretty good here. He's got one more turn. Did I do it? Okay. Got there. All right. That's really big that we got that game won. So, this plays out a lot like Mono Black Control, right? He's got so much removal. I think we actually want to try and curse him. I think we go with the curse plan. He's at 21 cards here, as you can see. So, curse might have actually just been good enough. I think he's gonna... Oh, he doesn't have blue. I was gonna say Stormbound, guys, but... Wow. Yeah. I mean, I would like Serrated Arrows, but he's got course Sanctifiers. I think we're gonna do it, guys. You think we should go for it? Why not? You only live once. And that's just going to make all his Flame Slashes and Journey to Nowheres completely dead cards. I think he's going to bring in Relic against us, which actually might be quite good. We're going to replace Dispel with Hydroblast. Hydroblast at least stops... gosh darn it. Kuldotha Rebirth, as well as Pyroblast. He's going to leave in Galv Blast. I think we want all this removal. Crypt Incursion just gain us some life. I think we'll still run it. I think we want Justice. I don't think we want Talisman. I think it's kind of like how we board against Mono Black. Except we do get to bring in these type of cards. 2 Justice or 3? He's got Glinthawk, Kuldotha Rebirth. Maybe just 2. The core Skyfishers are kind of big deal. Oh, we need to bring in the curse too if we're doing it. It might be too much to board in. I'm not sure. We want to bring in as many 2-for-1s as possible. His deck is all 2-for-1s, so we also want to be playing 2-for-1s. I think Diabolic Edict is probably not as good as the other removal. Just target the guy. Man, I can't bring in more. I need like more cards. I can cut a Teachings. I don't have a lot of time here. We're going to kind of do this on the fly. Maybe Counterspell is not very good. There wasn't a lot we wanted to actually counter. I'm going to actually try this. Just try and kill everything. Deep Analysis. We have 10 seconds to decide if we want Deep Analysis. I think we want it. That's 7 4s, though. I'm going to do this. We don't have any time left to decide, so we're just going to run it. Alright, I think this might be correct. I don't know about the curse plan against him, but I have a feeling... I mean, it feels very similar to Mono Black. He has 61 cards, by the way. The only difference is I don't think we need counter spells, because we can let him draw all the cards he wants, It's mostly we have to keep the board clear, and we did a great job of that in game one. So I think we might be okay because this plays out like mono black, but he can't disrupt our hand. The best he can do to us is slip a rebirth underneath and get in for that with Bone Splitter if he's playing it, or just sneak a bunch of burn. So I think our ways to stop that from happening is to keep the board completely clear, have Hydroblast in our deck, and use Crypt Incursion. So I think we might be okay this matchup. So now I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Maybe he's got some connection issues. 61 cards, huh? I didn't notice that game one. He's going to have Pyroblast. I mean, we could have also thought about what he's going to board into. Pyroblast. He might have like Guardian of the Guild Pact, so that's probably really good that we leave in all of our edicts. I mean, we cast 4 counterspells that game, but I think they could have just as easily been removal spells. I think we used them on his removal that time, but we aren't going to need to counter his removal now. He's going to have removal that's absolutely dead because we're going to be milling him out with enchantments. He does have Core Sanctifiers. So if he left them in his deck, and he probably does because he wants all his threats, we might not be able to do this. We don't even have Counterspell. Oh my god. Okay. This could be very bad. There's also a chance that he just doesn't even come back. I mean, I don't know what's happening. He might just decide that this is too miserable and he doesn't want to play this matchup. So, yep, we are still here. Yeah, he might just be gone. Which would save us the embarrassment of trying to curse him and just get destroyed by Core Sanctifiers. But I think he might, if he's playing Order of Leapbur or Obsidian Acolyte, he brings that in. So the edicts are definitely something we want. I think he has more answers to Gurmag Angler than he does to Curse, which he has to draw at the right time, not get them milled out, and also resolve them. He has to have the foresight, right? He could just throw out a Sanctifiers to try and do some damage to us, and then at that point, we resolve Curse, and he's SOL. That first game was really good. Went really well. I think we probably should have cast Crypt Incursion. There was a lot of times where we just didn't use our mana that we possibly should have or could have. Like, I didn't flashback Mystical Teachings for anything because I didn't really feel I needed anything, and I was more interested in preserving my clock and also just keeping options open, but mostly just preserving my clock, to be honest, because I know this is a grindy matchup that is also going to grind down the clock. And then I didn't cast Una's Grace just so that I could leave up Dispel and try and keep my guy alive. So I was really prioritizing, again, countering his removal in the mid to late game so that I actually have a creature that can stick and deal damage to him. And it actually worked. I think that is actually the preferred method of playing game one against these attrition decks like Mono Black Control, any removal heavy decks like Boros Kitty, where once you eliminate their initial creature wave and you start resolving creatures, it then becomes important to use those excess counterspells on their removal for your creatures because you don't have a lot of creatures in your deck and they have a lot of removal. So if you can counter as many removal spells as possible, that last threat that you play can outlast the amount of removal that they draw. Sometimes, not always, but so far that's been working. It certainly won't work if you don't counter the removal in the first place. Then they will always have enough. So I don't think he's coming back. I apologize to you guys. We did get to see one very interesting game there. One very interesting game. But I really would have liked to see how the rest of the matchup plays. But I think our opponent just doesn't want to play against blue-black control for 30 minutes of his life or whatever, an hour of his life. And that's a sentiment shared by a lot of people, to be honest. So that's just something we're going to have to live with, Playing a deck that a lot of people just have seething, unmitigated hatred for. Now, I don't think our deck is that much of a griefer deck, really. I definitely can empathize with having all your spells countered or killed. That's not necessarily a good feeling. But people don't often play against control in this very engaging cerebral way, which I believe you can when you start thinking, how am I going to play around counter spells? How am I going to play around removal spells? When you start, you can, as the player with initiative, being the beatdown player, you can really, in a lot of situations, you can pressure the control player into certain lines. You can pressure them into making certain moves. And you can, in that sense, shape the game in a very interesting and dynamic way that I don't think a lot of people take advantage of. And it's hard for me to just articulate it and explain that eloquently in words. It's something I've learned or I've developed just playing beatdown for years at a time, constantly. So I'm trying to verbalize it now, and maybe it's something that I can eventually make into an article or some sort of tutorial, because it's actually very interesting. When I play beatdown nowadays, I find it very engaging to try and outfox the control player. But, our control deck has so much removal and so much card advantage that I can see why some people would get frustrated and not want to continue. Now, I'm not saying that this is what our opponent is doing. It's possible he's just got a terrible connection. It's possible that I just have a terrible connection and this is some crazy Matrix-esque false reality in which my clock is actually the one ticking down and my opponent is the one sitting here talking about how bad my internet is and I'm about to lose. So, but I don't necessarily think that's the case here. So how much time is MTGO going to give this guy anyway? I don't know. So that game went to 19 turns. That's pretty long. But I think, how many turns did it take for us to get rid of most of his threats? I think his last threat for a while was Course Sanctifiers. Before this, he didn't have a lot of threats for a while. Yeah, it was turn 16, he got the Remember the Fallen, but in turn 15, he cast Course Skyfisher. But yeah, for a long time here, he didn't even have threats. He was just casting his burn. Journey to Nowhere. So, after turn 9, he stopped having threats for like half the game. So that's something interesting to think about. He was able to pump threats out there for the first about 9 turns, and then he kind of stalled out and just had removal. But he did draw into more threats on turn 15, and also the Fountain, Remember the Fallen, which we let resolve in a sense because we could have cast Crypt Incursion. Alright, we won. He's not here. I apologize. We actually got play points this time. I apologize. It's not a full match, but there's not a ton I could have done about that other than play a different deck. So thank you guys for watching. Alright, guys, one more go with this teachings deck, and we've lost the die roll. We're not very good at winning die rolls this time around, but that's okay. I think our hand is good enough. And he's mono red potentially. Whoa, Goblins with a turn one Bushwhacker. So that means he's probably got more Bushwhackers. I think Goblins is a good matchup for this deck, but the game ones are not particularly great. So we'll see how this goes. We're just going to lead on our guild gate. Now, I apologize for what panned out last round with that opponent, but I think this will be a pretty action-packed and pretty intense game actually, or full match really. So he leads on turn one Bushwhacker. That's questionable. As a Goblins player myself, I think I would lean towards just saving that Bushwhacker, even just as a turn two play. I think it's much stronger. So we're going to kill the Denizen. And I think we're just going to get double blue. That Denizen's going to potentially do a lot of damage to us, so. Then next turn, if we draw an untapped land, we may preordain anyway, depending what he ends up playing. His turn twos could be a lot of things: Sparksmith, Mog War Marshal. I think we have to Chainer's Edict, but we could try and find a land with that preordain. I guess he could have Matron here. He's got 4 cards, so if we just Edict, there's a chance that that's potentially good enough, but like I said, the game ones are not particularly great. He just hasn't had a stellar opening, but this is pretty good. This is going to drop us to 15, so we're certainly going to Edict. So, okay, we have to decipher his hand here. Doesn't look like there's another one drop, so he could have another Bushwhacker in hand. He could have bolts, and he could have something like what is that guy called? Heel Cutter. So like I said, we're getting an island. I still think our best bet is just to Chainer's Edict and mitigate some of the damage here. It's nice that we have a land that's well, first of all, that we have a land period, but one that gives us life and kind of goes with this plan. So we're just going to keep running out. And it's really great that we have the Crypt Incursion in our main deck now, because that's going to potentially save us here from getting burned out or from him top decking. I actually think this is looking really good so far. Now, I think, like I said, okay, there's the bolt that I was talking about. I think he may also have another Bushwhacker, which is going to take us to 9. And he's living off the top of his deck. There's a cohort and no Bushwhacker. So we're at virtual 10 because he's definitely going to keep that alive. So let's go ahead and preordain. Yeah. We want to find that 4th land because we can gain a lot of life. That's actually really good. Well, I think it's still keepable because I think what we're going to end up doing is edicting this turn with the spell up. Next turn we're leaving up Counterspell and Mystical Teachings, but then he still just has this guy alive. So maybe it's better for us to try and find a removal spell. I think that's correct. We have a Think Twice also to try and get to it. So he's got 2 cards. I think Bushwhacker is less likely. I think another Bolt is more likely. Maybe he has a 3 that just hasn't been worth playing so far. He did not try to bolt us. Kind of wish he had, because we do have. I think these 1-drops he's been, basically like consistently drawing off the top. Okay, so we're only gaining 9, but that's actually, that's not even only. That's actually kind of a lot. So I think we just pass here. I don't even know if is Crypt Incursion what I want in this spot. gain 9, I think, yeah, I think we need that. So we're potentially taking 7. Now, if he does try to burn me, I think I have to dispel that. Yeah, he's definitely got burn here. So now we're actually going to think twice. I don't know if we're going to do it now on our turn. I think we got to at least represent counterspell. And before his guy hits the table, we'll think twice because there's a chance we find a disfigure. Okay, well, I'm going to think twice anyway. Or tragic slip. None of the above. So we are going to 9, and we're going to have to do a lot of thinking on our next turn because he didn't have a guy, obviously. So if we just play this Mole Drifter down and he has a bolt for it, it's actually still not that bad. I don't think Teachings does a ton for us here. Being at 9 is actually okay. If he draws a Bushwhacker, we go down to 2. If he also bolts the Mole Drifter. But alternatively, we can Teachings for a removal spell, which might save us more damage in the long run. I think just leaving up Teachings by itself is the worst play. So I think this is what we're going to do. This gets us a body and gets us some cards. We might naturally draw the Crypt Incursion between this Mole Drifter, Una's Grace, and Think Twice, so that would really be sick. But as it stands, like I said, it only gains us 9 right now. Okay, we drew some really awesome stuff. So this guy's going to... Oh, it didn't die. Okay, so... Looks like we're taking a trade here. And after that, it looks like we're completely stable. His last card must be a blank or a Death Spark or I don't know what. No, it's not a Death Spark. He would have cast it there. I'm just going to leave up everything. And if he plays a guy, I can disfigure and counterspell. Otherwise, I can just get my Crypt Incursion and kind of, win. Okay, so there's a Sparksmith. I think I'm actually going to disfigure the cohort in response. And then I'm going to Teachings for a Crypt Incursion, and I'm going to Chainer's Edict his Sparksmith away. Yeah, I think we actually stole this game. Well, I use the term steal this game a lot, but I really shouldn't. We are going to win this game, and it's a legitimate win. We didn't steal it. We are playing a lot of trumps to what our opponent did this game. We're a little bit lucky that he didn't have an insane draw, but we didn't steal the game. We're fortunate enough to win this game 1 here. Most likely, obviously, there's some things that could happen. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to leave up all my other stuff. I guess I can think twice this turn. I'm going to leave up Counterspell no matter what. Okay, he just concedes. So he knows we're going to gain 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 life, and that he's top decking. He has no way to really get more cards besides Matron if he's even playing it. So, yeah, that was a good game for us. We that played out a lot like we wanted. We're typically going to get to single digit life. You can tell it, like, that wasn't even a particularly great draw for him, but he still knocked us down to 9, so that's just going to happen in pretty much all the games. So you have to, try and preserve your life total as best as you can, but they're still going to beat you down. That's what they do. So this is kind of funny sideboarding because we just basically board into every removal spell we possibly can play. The Evankar's Justice cards are really good. The Arrows is actually quite good as well. Hydroblast is a clear choice. It's a 1 mana. Deal with any of their individual spells. And then we bring in some of this stuff. We also bring in the victim, but I'm not sure what I'm going to cut for that. Maybe we don't bring it in. I could see cutting just even another mystical teachings. So, or we could cut a land. Maybe we want to cut a land, but you know, 24 lands and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 drops. Not in love with, so I guess I'll keep the land. We do have stuff to do with our mana. I'll try it like this. I mean, the main thing we want to get with teachings is that crypt incursion later in the game. I mean, this is a lot of removal, guys. 2, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12 spot removal spells, 3 sweepers, another pseudo kind of sweeper, crypt incursion. I don't even know if you guys are hearing this because the lag is kind of intense. But yeah, it's a lot. We have the Pristine Talisman and the Crypt Incursion for life gain. Yeah, we're just lagging here. Yeah, okay. So it got submitted. I'll just go back to the game. I think we're fine. Okay, so this hand, it's kind of weird. Though nice emoticons and stuff there. So this hand's kind of weird. Tragic Slip doesn't necessarily kill anything. We have a lot of tap lands. They all gain us life. This hand's really awkward and kind of slow. I'm gonna try it out. I think it could be. I think it's potentially a mistake, but especially because his turn ones usually are like I was gonna say, 2 toughness. Okay, that could potentially be a saver, but yeah, I think this mana is just too slow this game. We'll see. I'm hoping that the gain life aspect sort of mitigates that, but alright, so what's this turn 2? Ugh. Yeah, this hand just laughs at Tragic Slip. Okay, so he's kind of nut drawing us. We're going to have to preordain rather than slip. This is kind of awkward, guys, but what's awkward about it is I even have to take like an untapped land to get justice that much faster. Okay, this is going to help us. So next turn we can either edict or disfigure. We're probably disfiguring. Alright, let's figure this out. If he has Bushwhacker, we're taking 8 and probably not winning, but we're at 11 at that point. We can disfigure. And then we have to survive one more turn after that. I think that's probably our best bet. We are gaining life from this stuff, so we're actually going to. It's not 8. It's like 11. Did I say that? We're going to 8, going to 9. Oh, we can disfigure Tragic Slip next turn. All right, we're gonna be in we're not good shape, but we're gonna be in decent shape. I mean, being at 8, we're virtually at 9, right? Sorry, we're going to 9 now. We're gonna be virtually at 10 with the backwater. Okay, then we're killing 2 guys, and we have one more turn to stay alive before we can justice. Yeah, I think this is actually not too bad. There's 10. I think we do it now. Plays around Death Spark, and he doesn't likely play Brimstone Volley, but I think we still do it now. For at least the opportunity to play around Death Spark. And we could possibly draw an untapped land and still just justice him. This Mystical Teachings is likely going to get us that Crypt Incursion we need. So see what happens here. An untapped land's probably our best draw. We're going to go really low, but that, like I said, that usually happens. So we're taking 3 going to 7. We can't play around Death Spark now. He's probably got some burn for us. I guess Hydroblast is our best draw. I don't know that untapped land's that good. Well, it is pretty good. Yeah, we just fire this, and then this untaps. He might have some burn. We're at 4, or sorry, we're at 5. I don't know why I keep misspeaking and misclicking. We're just gonna do this, and then All of these cards. What is up with the lag? We have another sweeper after that if we need it. He might burn us down to 3. But, yeah, that's just how it goes, guys. Alright, we can potentially gain 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. But we need to make it that far. Once we do, it's smooth sailing. But this is going to be basically that 1 to 2 turn window where he needs to close out the game and we need to stabilize, and it's just a question of who's going to do what. So he didn't have burn for us on the end step. There's a sledder. He might just bushwhacker us and we go to -1. Looks like yeah. So that's game. Wow, the lag. GG. So he did have a kind of busted draw, and we kept a questionable one. So I think being on the play and being a little more discerning with our hands is gonna benefit us a little bit better. I mean, even with that hand, we were potentially gonna stabilize. We just it's a little too slow. Maybe one more turn we could have done something. So yeah, I think we keep it like this. Now I have yet to lose to Goblins in a full match, so this might be the very first time you guys get to see it, a momentous occasion. But I don't intend to lose. Let's see what the opening hands look like. Wow. I don't know that I like this. We have nothing castable. This is a really awkward opener. We have all our 3 drops and a currently uncastable removal spell. It's not even necessarily the case that we're going to get to cast any of these because we might not draw into land. So we have to mulligan this, I think, even though it doesn't look like a mulligan on its face. Now this looks really awkward too. I do think I'm going to keep it because I can kill the first guy he plays. This is really awkward. I think it's probably better than going to 5. We do get to draw a card, kill his first guy. Yeah, I don't love it, but yeah, this might be a tough one. He kept 7, so he's just deciding what he wants to play first. He's got a lot of choices, I'm sure. I'm definitely killing that. Hydroblast is our best draw here. Tragic Slip, not bad. Alright, we'll just kill this now. Hopefully our Tragic Slip can deal with whatever he plays next. Okay. Well, that's not too impressive, but I'm still going to kill it because this Tragic Slip, might not be any better. So we're actually he did miss a land as well. I'm going to leave up my mana. It's possible I just take 1 in Una's Grace, but it depends if he draws something. It depends what he plays, rather. Okay. So I think I'm just going to slip this. I mean, at this rate, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. The reason I slipped that is because he can, if I kill the Sledder, he can just sack it and sack the Sledder, and I take an extra point. So I'm just going to kill this. His slow mana development might help us. We are running out of answers, but we do have Una's Grace, and we're really killing his tempo right now. We get to represent counterspell, which he doesn't really have a choice to play around, so Doesn't matter that we're representing it. I think Serrated Arrows is actually our best draw here. Sure. It's good that he's stopped on one land, but what ends up happening is, as you're going to see, is that he's just chock full of spells, and we need to kind of get out in front. We need to do something. Oh, that's very good. So we'll see what happens here. He might pick up some tempo. I think Crypt Incursion is going to be good for us, but we may have to use his teachings to get a Hydroblast or something. Okay, yeah, that's not great for us. Again, I think Serrated Arrows is more what we want. There's a Doomblade, which is not too bad here, not too shabby. I think I'm just going to pass. If he plays something I really want to counter, I will Teachings for a Hydroblast. Like, Bushwhacker, I think, just adds too much damage to the equation. So, okay, I think I'm okay with that. So I think what I'll do is just Doomblade a guy before he can... I mean, I'm going to take 2 either way. So, Doomblade. Yeah, if his hand included some lands, this would probably be a different story currently. He didn't even sack it, so he made a mistake there. He should have sacked it to make me take 2. Okay, so now we can get something like Diabolic Edict. I think gaining 12 is going to be pretty awesome too, but again, I'm fine casting this for a Hydroblast at this stage. If he plays a Bushwhacker, or even a Mog War Marshal, is just too much of a hassle. Wow, he doesn't have a... Yeah, it's really awkward. Okay, I'll take that. Goblin Arsonist. And he has another 1-drop. I think I'll counter this anyway. We have to not fall behind. You know, Crypt Incursion gaining us 12 is pretty good. Go up to 28, but we still have to deal with the board as well. Well, that's a lot of stuff. I guess I care more about the Goblin Sledder than I do the Arsonist. So I'm actually going to try and disfigure the Arsonist here. Then hopefully I draw a Swamp that I can flashback my Chainer's Edict. Or even, you know, a Muldrifter's fine. A Serrated Arrows is great. Just going to F6. I think he should respond and use his Sledders at pretty much every point. Just because. Just because it's superior to doing anything else. Okay, think twice. Or do I want to flashback Teachings? I think I have 1 turn to try and think twice. I think I'm stable enough, though I'm not completely stable. Alright, what can I get? Just so I want removal, guys. Yeah, I want both of these, actually. I think I want to specifically Victim of Night his Sledder right now, before he can make us take more damage. Alright, so now I really like our position, because we have Chainer's Edicts we can use. We can flashback Teachings to get Hydroblast. We can get Crypt Incursion, which is going to really put the game out of reach. And what is that? 7 mana, so we can do it immediately if we want. I think we're going to take 6 here, but then we can Crypt Incursion for 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, and go up to 28. We might take more than 6. Ooh. That's kind of scary. That makes our Crypt Incursion pretty, or sorry, our Chainer's Edict pretty bad. I think we may just want to Incursion here. Oh, we can't. It costs 6. That's right. It might be the right play to leave up Teachings, because we might want to counter that Bushwhacker. I think it's just too much damage. 14, so I can take a little more damage in order to gain my 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 life. But otherwise, I do want to counter this Bushwhacker. Yeah, he's going to let that fly. He's got Bushwhackers. There's no way the game's gone on this long he doesn't have Bushwhacker. Now, okay, Pyroblast would absolutely wreck, but yeah, bring it on, buddy. Let's try and counter this. Okay. Yeah, I think we gotta do it. This is almost gaining 18 life as well, but it's keeping a guy on the off the table. It also takes up his turn because that what's it called? Mog War Marshal. He blew it up. So now the edicts are a little better. Depending on what I draw, I think I may think twice and or something. I don't think it's correct to get the Crypt Incursion, even though that would have been beast. So now we can think twice and double edict, or do whatever. We might draw Justice, which would be beautiful. I mean, it's coming down to the wire again, but we're going to double edict. Then we're probably going to play Muldrifter. I think he's got more Bushwhackers. That's kind of the scary part. And of course, we're going to single life. 10. But maybe Muldrifter puts it out. Sorry, maybe Muldrifter is just a giant roadblock that he can't hang with. But, you know, I mean, he could have double Bushwhacker. My problem with getting the Crypt Incursion is that it doesn't deal with his board. Whoa, this is crazy. All right, we're going to 6. Chain Lightning puts us to 3, so maybe he's just going to burn us out. Oh my lord. I think we just have to cast this. I don't know. Maybe I should have got the Crypt Incursion and taken. I would have taken like 12 and then gained. The difference is not. Wow. I think he's just going to burn us out. Or Bushwhacker us. That would do as well. All right. So I'm going to at least represent Hydroblast. This might do it, but I think he's got burn. So yeah, I think we're taking our first match loss to Goblins. I've played it like maybe this might be the 4th or 5th time. Okay, I don't think he would just like slow roll us here. Oh, he wants to trade with the Angler? No. He might also have Bushwhacker. Well, that puts us to 1. Yeah, he's just going to burn us. Oh my god. No way, dude. Maybe he messes up. Oh. Well, that's it. Yep, first loss to Goblins. I think, were it not for some of these stranger cards. We may have gotten there. He also had a hand that was 6 spells, and he kept drawing spells. So it's like he's basically cashing in. I don't know how to explain it. It's like he's putting a bunch of money in the bank that he's going to get to cash out later, while we're kind of staying at the same financial level. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's so stupid. I'm not sure about that play, that teachings play for Hydroblast. Had I taken my lumps and then gained 18 life, it might have been better. So I have to relook at that. I think that was the main thing to look at, because otherwise it's just an issue of one-for-oneing stuff and deciding when to take damage. So yeah, let me know if you guys have any input or things to say. But otherwise, I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in to this installment of Die.